I am Jay Lucas,
And I'm Karen Lucas.
and welcome to the Sunshine Report. I think we've got a terrific topic for you this week. It's all about a different way of saying yes, and subtitled The Power of No.
No.
So, in other words, you know, it's so easy to say yes to so many things. But one of the toughest things to do is to be able to say no to a lot of things that probably don't matter, so that in fact you can be saying yes to those critical few things that are really the most important things you have to do. And that's the idea of a different way to say yes.
Well, I think the word no has so many connotations, right? There's a firmness to it. It's like, can't do that. It's also can sort of lend itself to being almost negative by saying no.
By definition, by
Right?
definition, which I think is one of the problems. I think everybody to some extent does have an issue, a problem. It's a challenge to say no because you're probably going to disappoint somebody. And so it's not a matter, in some ways, you're going to be saying yes to yourself by saying no to somebody else. But I think it's not only that you say it, but it's the way that you say it.
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, the word yes always feels really good. And like you can say yes to someone and you can help someone by saying, yes, I can do that. When you go and you say, no, I can't do that, but I could do
But
this.
the
Right?
no but,
Right.
right?
So let's see how we can turn that no into a yes and be positive at the same time. But it might still be, no, you can't do that, but you can do this. So
But
doesn't that make sense?
it makes huge sense. And it's also maybe it's the no, not now.
True.
Not now.
True.
But then there's another sort of little tension here because how many times do you find yourself saying yes only to regret that down the road and then have to say no? And I think that's just so much more hurtful, so much more challenging to who it is you're working with than to be able to just be upfront and say, I I really wish I could.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what the problem is, why I can't. At least not now, but maybe, like you said, maybe there's some other thing that can be helpful.
Well, I think that happens in our life all the time because we never want to disappoint people. We always want
Stay
to
positive.
we always want to be there to be helpful.
Right.
And so it's always hard to say no,
It is hard
right,
to say
Mr.
no. And
Positivity?
it's hard for me.
And so, we live that in that way. And yet we always want to be able to say, yes, we can help. So we have our own way of having to deal with the no versus the yes here today at the Sunshine Report, right?
Well, we do. And, it's a positive sort of thought. It's sometimes difficult to have the word no in your vocabulary, but
Right.
it can be a big positive way to make gains for you and
Right.
make gains for everybody else around you.
Well, I have to just share this with everyone. And, when the kids were growing up, I used to say, I don't want to use the word no to them because it always meant, it seems so negative. But I always thought if I could, yes, just what we're saying here today, turn that around and turn it into a positive, instead of saying, no, you can't have this. Oh, put it in the carriage. We'll think about it. By the time we got the register, it
It was
was like,
gone.
well, we probably didn't need that. We leave that somewhere. And it never turned into like a no. It just was, we're thinking about it. Right.
I love
And
that.
again, being honest, but at the same time, having that opportunity to
Sort
make
of
some decisions, right. And think about things opposed to just being quick because some of those things that did go in the cart did become, did get to the register. So,
I think that's an openness and a positive sort of way of dealing with
right.
it, which, as we always like to say here at the Sunshine Report, it is positive energy that inspires positive change that does produce
Positive results.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week, everyone, and stay positive.